Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I'm your hostess and your melanated queen. I hope everybody's been having a good start to your evening and your night, y'all. So, as you can clearly see, we have the title today, Laila Ali Responds. So, we're going to examine the response from Laila Ali to Clarissa Shields, everybody. All right, so she just actually dropped a video, I guess some hours ago, and we're going to go over these responses, okay? Y'all, I've had a very trying day today. I am just exhausted. And I want to say this to y'all out there. Treat yourself with the utmost respect. Don't allow people to disrespect you. All right? I don't care. You don't have to be mistreated by anyone in this world. If you don't want to be mistreated, you don't have to be mistreated. It's too much of that going on. And I know this is not the title that we're talking about right now, but I think it's something that we definitely need to discuss. And I'm going to probably have a story time with you some other time about why I am saying this. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and explore uh, Laila Ali, excuse me, y'all, and Clarissa Shields. I'm moving stuff out of the way. There's my tripod. I'm moving out the way, y'all. All right. What's good, King Hazy? Shout out to you. Thank you for coming into the building. So, we're going to actually explore the reaction with Laila Ali and what she had to say about Clarissa Shields. I haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing. I actually was listening to it as I was on my way driving home, and I only caught a glimpse of it. So I'm going to be actually listening to this for the first time on the channel in its entirety. So this is going to be very interesting, everybody. Here I am. How y'all doing today? For sure. Shout out to you. Shout out to you as well, King Hazy. I've had a very trying day today, to say the least. A very trying day. All right. And what's good, Lonesome Dove? Like I was telling people earlier, don't allow anybody to disrespect you and treat yourself with the utmost respect. I don't care who it is. You don't have to tolerate nonsense from anybody. So let's go ahead, you all, and let's get into this whole Laila Ali situation. We're going to play her response. Okay. Let me share my screen with y'all. This is part two. Part two has just dropped today, y'all. So I'm kind of anxious to hear what she has to say. I think that Laila Ali is extremely very well spoken. So I think everybody is anticipating her response right now. All right, let's go ahead and listen in, y'all.
Just as I promised, I'm bringing you part two of Set the Record Straight. Now, if you haven't already watched part one, I suggest you go back and do so you'll understand why I needed to go to these lengths to lay the truth out once and for all. For years, I've been characterized as unsupportive, as being a hater, envious of her success, and as someone who disrespected her so badly. Now, in part one, I discussed the past, what was said from both of us on both sides. I showed the brunt of what came out of each of our mouths. Nothing was twisted, nothing was taken out of context, just the truth of what was said. I also showed how she even tried to use my father's name to discredit me. Pretty unthinkable. Hopefully, you went and watched the full versions of the clips I shared in part one, just as I suggested, because they're on YouTube. Now, I want to take just a second to thank those of you that left supportive comments. Even if you judge the situation wrongly and see the truth now, I understand how it may have seemed. Multiple people have reached out to me privately, sharing their experiences, and are so relieved that someone finally exposed the truth about how she operates. Now, I know you.
Now, are y'all able to hear this? I don't know if y'all can hear this or not. Let me see. Okay, it sounds like y'all can hear it. Just wanted to make sure, y'all. Sorry about that.
You know my style by now, facts versus feelings. Like I said in part one, I'm not about the he say, she say. I've stayed focused on the exact allegations that were made against me, and I showed you the directly related receipts. Now, part two is about the present. She always repeats the same tactics, just in a new situation. We're dealing with the same person who plays the victim card, makes up lies, deliberately twists my words, and creates a false narrative. Look, she fooled the public before, so she feels like she could just keep it going. Now, before I get into part two, let me just remind you who we're talking about here.
Oh boy, y'all. Oh boy. They're about to get into it. She's about to go in, y'all.
Jump right to it since you brought her up. Laila Ali.
I always knew that Layla wasn't intimidated by me, you know. And she may have not ever said nothing, but I always knew that she questioned who was the better fighter between me and her. Because I have a better amateur background and now a better professional background. So I knew that she always kind of felt a little threatened, but from when I first met her, I always knew that, you know, she don't love boxing.
What does being the GOAT mean to you?
Of course, it got all the accomplishments and, you know, all the belts and everything like that. But it also means, like, to me, just making a blueprint for the women that's coming up behind me, the original way.
You know, there's a lot of girls who use boxing to promote their with their modeling career, to be in a magazine or something. But I use boxing for boxing, and it promotes. And boxing is my brand.
All right. Okay. So these are the words of Clarissa Shields. Clarissa says that she always has known that Laila Ali has been jealous of her. I would pose this question: why would Laila Ali be jealous of Clarissa Shields if she's already retired from boxing? And Clarissa Shields is fairly, new coming into the sport. Why would Laila Ali, if she's already solidified her legacy and her, sportsmanship and her prowess and her background in boxing, why would she have to be jealous of a newcomer? She's got businesses established, she has endorsement deals. She's had her time in boxing. So why would she then have to be jealous of Clarissa Shields? I'm just kind of curious on where she's getting that from. And yes, you got your popcorn ready. One thing I don't like seeing melanated ladies go back and forth like this, y'all. So hopefully this can come to an end. But let's continue on to hear what Clarissa Shields has to say and why Laila Ali made this part too.
It's just like I'm not trying to use boxing to promote something else to help me with something else.
I'm really building a blueprint where I can tell other girls, like, listen, if you do this, this is what can happen. Yeah. If you build your brand like this.
Hold on, y'all. Let me go back.
Use boxing to promote something
else. Why is she wearing this dress like this revealing dress? I think that's highly inappropriate to be wearing in public. Now, if she wants to wear this in the confinement of her own home, with whomever she wants to share this with, but to come on a public platform, I think this was highly inappropriate, y'all. That's just my personal opinion.
To help me with something else.
I'm really building a blueprint where I can tell other girls, like, listen, if you do this, this is what can happen. Yeah. If you build your brand like this is the direction that it can go. If you build it like that, it can go this way. I feel like I just want to get, like, somehow, if it can be figured out, what is it that the brands look for in an athlete to where I get the $20 million payday to represent, one of these big brands or something like that. You have to have I don't know if it's a certain look or a certain tone or a certain,
I think if you
story,
just continue to be you.
Of course, being like a great person, being a great role model. Marshall a bitch, that's it. She's a bitch and she's gonna keep being one. She's a hater. She wish she was me. She wish she had the belts, the gold medals, and she don't want to be me. She wish she was black and everything. It's just sad.
Okay, she's very vocal, y'all. And she definitely expresses her opinion. You said, I think because Layla felt like her ego was in jeopardy. That could be the case. That could very much be the case, y'all. Maybe Layla felt, some competition from Clarissa Shields. Is that what you're thinking? Let's continue on.
I tried to tell her in the past, brand deals don't come from pretending to be someone you're not. They come from character, integrity, and consistency. That's the work she needs to do. So while she's tried to paint my success beyond the ring in a negative light, the truth is I've accomplished what I set out to do in the ring, and I moved on to build a life and a career using all of my other talents. Now she's acting as if she's an expert on how to build a brand, mentoring others on it as if she has all the answers, when in reality, she's still trying to figure it out for herself. And she's doing this because she wants to figure out how she needs to look, how she needs to act, how she needs to talk, who she needs to become in order to make some money and get some brand deals.
Okay, so I do agree that she definitely is trying to find her path when it comes to her own style, how she presents herself. I think she definitely could use someone to help her as far as, I don't know, maybe a publicist or someone that can keep her a little bit more polished in the public arena. You say yes, and sports are competitive, especially boxing.
Let's get into this. She's decided to once again call me out with a $15 million challenge. She's using the same playbook as last time, taking something I said, twisting it, and turning it into a false story, then going on a PR campaign to promote it. Let's take a look at how this all came about. I recently co-hosted a historic women's boxing event on Netflix, the Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano trilogy fight in Madison Square Garden. Millions of viewers tuned in, and there were great matchups on the undercard. Now, after the event, I did an impromptu interview to discuss the fighters and how electrifying the night was for women's boxing.
And both of the ladies have so much to be proud of. They're both great warriors. And this is a big night for women's boxing. And hopefully it's just the beginning.
And she threw a 1-2 every single time, but that 1-2 was going like straight, and she was already over here.
I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But I know where you're going with it. We can easily pick either of them apart, right? But the thing is, I think Amanda was trying to just be busy. I'm almost done, guys. Last question.
Yeah.
Last one at Clarissa Shields. There's rumors that you're going to come back and fight. What? Everybody's talking about it. You know, the rumor that I heard was that I said that unless somebody had 15, 20 million, don't even call me. Turkey has that money. Turkey's going to send us. I said, unless somebody calls me and says they have it, we're not even going to have a conversation. I'm not trying to come back and fight. But if someone offered that kind of money, I would actually have to think about it.
All right, so she said, I would actually have to think about it if someone were to offer me that type of money, right? Now, she looks very ravishing right here. She looks extremely stunning, well put together, very poised. And this is something where I think Clarissa Shields could take a few pointers from Laila Ali when it comes to just presentation as a whole. I understand she's a boxer, but she's, you know, a little rough around the edges, y'all. You know, that's just my personal take on it. Let's continue on.
I actually have to think about it. Thank you.
Unfortunately, what I didn't find out until later was that the questions that I kindly answered were going to be turned into a calculated headline created for clickbait. Not the first time this has happened. Ever since I retired from the boxing ring, I've received offers to come back. Everything from exhibitions to fighting whoever I want and me naming my price. I've never really been just sitting around seriously trying to come back to boxing. I have a TV hosting career. I speak on stages around the globe. I have successful companies that I own. I'm a wife, a full-time mom. I'm raising teenagers. I'm busy and fulfilled. During that quick fight blog interview, I addressed the rumor that the interviewer...
All right, so she's at the stage in her life, y'all, because she's into her 40s now, that she's fulfilled. She's a wife. She's a mother. She has other business ventures. Boxing is something that she successfully retired from. So, you know, in an instance like this, is it really worth giving Clarissa Shields this much energy? Now, I know she wants to defend herself, y'all. I know that she feels that she's been spoken, you know, about in a incorrect way. But I want to know, like, do y'all think it's even worth that she continues to entertain, basically, the likes of Clarissa Shields at this point, y'all? Because I would just say this: if I had all of these accolades, all these things going on for myself, if I were in Laila Ali's shoes, it's almost like, why are we even comparing the two? Why am I even going to come off of my throne to throw tomatoes with a peasant, right? And those are the words of I forgot her name, Mariah from what is it, Married to Medicine. So you got to understand, like, this is kind of like a new girl coming to boxing, and then she's like a veteran in boxing. I don't even think it's worth really giving it that much energy, but I guess maybe she felt like now she has the time to respond. And so, it's just interesting to hear her take on it, y'all. I don't really think that she should give it this much attention, this much energy, to be honest. And I think that, probably Clarissa Shields should go find somebody else to worry about. You said that's an interesting concept with the tomatoes. I like that. Yeah, Mariah said that, y'all. And that's from Married to Medicine. All right, let's continue on because I want to hear more of Clarissa Shields. So let me minimize myself, y'all. Hold on. Let me make her screen bigger. Sorry about that. Here we go.
Brought up. He had his facts wrong, so I corrected him and I said I wasn't trying to make a comeback. But if somebody offered me $15 to $20 million, I would have to think about it. Who wouldn't? That's a lot of money. But saying that I would think about it and saying I would actually do it is not the same. Words matter. After he posts the video, he starts sending my business partner text messages, literally trying to negotiate a fight without my knowledge or consent, while at the same time my team was being inundated with a barrage of emails and text messages and calls from her team trying to make a fight. Now at this point, it started to feel like a money grab scheme. Next thing you know, about 6 days later or so, the same fight blog puts out the fake check video. You can go watch it on YouTube.
What's up, Laila? You trying to fight? I'm the GOAT. I bet 50 million up right now. Where you at? Speaking of GOAT, have you tried my new GOAT seasoning? It's knockout blends with spices and herbs. Don't try to get quiet now. Yeah, that's what I thought. Have you guys seen my new cooking show? Episode 2 drops on Friday. Meet me in the ring. Honey, already got one of those. You know what? I'll find somewhere else to fight. Who want a piece of me? Oh, my ears are ringing.
That was hilarious when I saw it. And that's
All right, so this is a girl by the name of Go Rosie Grow. If you would like to follow her, she's 9 years old from Detroit, and she has an Instagram following, you all, of 113,000 followers. All right, now this girl is something else, y'all. So she's pursuing, I guess, her comedic abilities and her acting skills. Account is run by I would think her mother, Kenya.Faye, and somebody else. Negative, it says over opinionated, distasteful comments will be deleted. I don't blame you. And we only uplift and celebrate over here. I like that because she is just a child, you all. And people are very cruel in the comment sections. But let's continue on. I digress. All right. Let's continue on to what Laila has to say.
That's exactly what's been going on. And you know what? Rosie, that super talented young lady, is a comedian. You can go check out her Instagram page. Now, that was her perception of the situation. She's actually a fan of both of us. You can go to her page and see that. She wasn't taking sides. She's just doing a funny reenactment of what she perceives to be going on. And this is exactly why it's so important to me that we carry ourselves in a respectable manner, because young girls are always watching us. So while all of this foolishness was going on, I was overseas on summer vacation with my family. She was once again calling me out, twisting the story of what I said on the fight blog. Then she says it was another golden opportunity.
I was very shocked to still see her even speak of me.
There goes the twist. I did not speak of her or mention her in that interview.
I've been let that dream go of fighting her a long, long time ago. But when I seen that, I'm like, you know what? Another golden opportunity to make a fight with me and Laila Ali. Got it? If she want 15 million, we got 15 million. Take this 15 million and come get your ass whooped.
Do you think she even wants to fight you, or do you think that she just threw that number out there just to save face?
In a way, sometimes I think she tried to price herself out. But it was like, it's better if she just don't say anything about that. You know, it's better if she say, "Oh, I'm retired, I'm the best." You know, be on that high and mighty high horse that she's always on, and stay on that. When you get off that high horse, and now you realize that you're normal, because you are. She wants to try to make it still seem like she's somewhat relevant in women's boxing.
Oh my gosh, I didn't.
Oh, goodness, y'all. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because it's kind of funny just like watching this stuff, this compilation that she put together. I she said it's interesting that she is still trying to make herself seem like she's still relevant in boxing, y'all. She's not boxing currently because she's retired, of course. But when you think of female boxers, I think Laila Ali is the number one boxer that most people think about. It's just ironic that she's trying to discredit Laila Ali like this, y'all.
Mention her. I clearly said I wasn't interested in making a comeback, okay? But she's out here running her own storyline once again. It was never gonna stop. Let me just say this. There is no way in my prime, with all the accolades, that I'd be trying to prove that I'm the greatest by being obsessed with fighting a nearly 48-year-old retired fighter who's been out the ring almost 20 years, while in the same breath claiming that she's irrelevant and she's untalented, while simultaneously coming up with $15 million for her within a matter of about 6 days. Please make it make sense.
My sentiments as well. Make that make sense. I probably would have let this idea go a long time ago if they haven't gotten into the ring yet. You said she's trying to agitate Layla's ego. Maybe that's what it is. Do you think that Laila is going to get back in the ring just to prove a point to her? What are your thoughts on that, y'all? All right, because this is ridiculous.
So she continues on her one-woman show, proceeding to try to bait me out of retirement. She's on social saying that she's the greatest now and she's gonna put me on my back.
Hold on, let's read this. It says here, what a great weekend of boxing. Really motivated now. And she added the real Laila Ali. I'm the greatest now. Be careful what you ask for. You know I've been wanting to make you eat your words. You're not a better boxer than me. And at 175, I'll put you on your back. Been ready for you. GWOAT Clarissa Shields hashtag, y'all. This was July 13th of this year. Didn't even know that this was a thing. I didn't even notice what's going on. Did y'all notice what's going on behind the scenes? I had no idea.
She's going on national shows spewing her usual narrative and saying that I said that if she came up with 15 million, I'd return to boxing.
You come out and say, "Oh, the rumor I heard is if Clarissa got 15, 20 million, then I got your 15 million. Now what?"
You call it a bluff. You call it a bluff, Clarissa.
Yeah, and we are still waiting to hear a response.
What would you be proving by fighting and ultimately beating her if you went in there with her?
Just be proving to her that I'm a better fighter than her. That's all that really matters to me.
Do you realize now that this girl has been shadow boxing this whole time? I'm not in this with her. She has something to prove, not me. This is in her head.
It's about the disrespect that she gives toward me. And I worked my butt off to get to where I am without having a famous father to get to where I am and to raise the bar for women's boxing. That's my issue with her. And if we were to fight each other in our primes, I would have still won. I would have knocked her out.
Everyone knows.
So basically what she's trying to say is that the reason Laila is where she's at is because of nepotism. She's trying to say that Muhammad Ali is basically the reason that everybody knows about Laila Ali, and that last name has gotten her the clout that she has today, and that she's basically irrelevant when it comes to boxing in today's world. You said, but that's to be expected. TL, stay relevant. I mean, everybody has a time when they run their course in whatever profession they do. You can't stay boxing forever, right? So I just don't understand all of these gimmicks, y'all.
This woman has not been able to bust a grape up until now. It's actually hilarious to hear her talk about knocking me out. She'd be better off saying she'd outbox me or she'd run me out the ring or something like that. But knock me out? Imagine that. No, really, imagine that. Look, I get it. She's obsessed with my knockout percentage. But at this point, She needs to stop promising these knockouts and focus on her own strengths because that's not one of them, and that's okay. So I ignored her PR stunts the same way I always have.
Hold on. You said you can feel the self-hatred from Clarissa. Jocelyn, I really think that Clarissa has something to prove. And I think she's trying to compare herself to other people. Well, really, she just needs to be her own competitor, her biggest competition. She needs to really focus on herself and stop trying to be like other people, y'all, because we do know that she was in Remy Ma's DMs asking Remy Ma about fashion and style. And Remy Ma was trying to help give her some advice on what to wear. And now she's trying to compare herself to Laila Ali, someone that came, years prior to her, when she should be focused on the females that are in today's relevancy as far in terms of boxing. Why is she worried about somebody that is 17 years her senior? That doesn't make logical sense to me. You said, to be fair, she ain't got nobody else to aspire to beating. Maybe that's what it is, but it does come off as a little bit, like envy, a little bit of jealousy, maybe. It's just maybe the way she went about it, y'all. I think maybe if she was more tactful about her approach, it wouldn't have come off this way. And I think Laila probably would not have felt the need to come on and defend herself like this.
Never got a response from me regarding a fight. So then she decides to throw a couple more lies into the story.
Hey Clarissa, how you doing today?
Laila and her representatives has told us no. Like the answer is no. She doesn't want to fight, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I understand that she's scared. I'm moving on with my career, and I'm happy that she said no. I really didn't want to have to put the pause on her anyway. She wants to.
Oh gosh, y'all. She is a mess. First of all, look at this big fur coat looking bird thing that she's wearing. And then she got Papoose standing right beside her, right? And she said, I'm really glad that she said no, because I didn't want to have to put the pause on her anyway, y'all. I really think she's using Laila Ali's name to actually thrust herself forward. I think she's doing this to kind of try to gain some traction, right? Because a lot of people didn't know about Clarissa Shields until the whole Remy and Papoose situation. That's how I started knowing about her. But I mean, I guess people that actually follow boxing probably knew about her. I didn't follow women's boxing, but I did know about Laila Ali, even though I didn't really follow women's boxing like that. I knew about Laila Ali. I just didn't know about Clarissa Shields until recently. And that was because of the Remy Ma Papoose situation. She does a whole lot of talking, y'all. A whole lot. You said, I like both of them as athletes. I do like the Don King hype promotion type clips, so they can hype up a good fight. Okay. A lot of people like both of them. A lot of people do. And I will say Clarissa Shields, both of them have a mouth on them. Laila does too. And I think they are both very competitive fighters. Do I think they're going to get in the ring? I don't think that Laila is going to fight Clarissa Shields, but let's continue this video and see what she said.
Be like in the public and keep her name tied to mine because I'm young and popping, but I'm Clarissa Shields and right now it's my time. And she wants to keep her name connected to mine to keep, selling whatever she's selling.
Clout thing, using your name.
It's absolutely clout.
Do you think she's scared to fight you?
Laila is scared to fight me, and I would be scared to fight me too. I get it.
Now she knows I'm not afraid of her. Nobody is. AB fights at 130 pounds, and she was willing to face her. Franchon gave her a tough fight and has been calling her out ever since. She's 1-1 with Marshall, who's eager for a rematch. Gabriel's dropped her and has been calling her out too. Shadeja Green would be a great matchup, and she's on her hit list. Even MMA champion Chris Cyborg wants to step into the boxing ring to face her. 54-year-old Chevelle Hallback has been issuing challenges. Nobody is scared of her.
We're in a generation now where the women fight each other.
Yeah.
We don't duck each other. And back in her generation, that's all she did. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's y'all champion.
Oh, but later that same day, wearing that same outfit, she says that.
Oh, no, y'all, did you just hear what she said? Oh, here we go. There she is again wearing that same outfit. Now, Laila, you know what you doing when you say that. She knows what she's doing. She's real slick out the mouth too, y'all. Chris Cyborg is a beast, but Amanda Nunez is better. Yeah.
This.
She hasn't responded. He hasn't responded, and I feel like the answer is like a no.
All right, I know the lies. She never got an answer. And I know they wanted to create this narrative that I was scared and she lost track of her message points for the day. She says I've been using her name to stay relevant because she's popping and I just want to keep my name attached to hers.
Ali, Laila 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 Ali is Laila Ali, Laila is Laila Ali. And Laila Ali. Laila Ali. Laila is Laila. Me and Laila, Laila Ali. Laila Ali.
And I didn't respond to her stunts at all, y'all.
I highly doubt that Laila Ali is trying to use Clarissa Shields' name to stay relevant. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's quite the opposite. From my personal opinion, I think Clarissa Shields is using Laila Ali to gain some traction and gain some attention, y'all. That's what I think.
Y'all know? Now you heard her say out her own mouth, she was moving on, that I was irrelevant. She didn't need me. She had so much going on, so many fights, so much money to be made. And I thought, great. But here she comes again.
Laila is first on my list. That's what I want first. Okay. But me and Laila has had some back and forth for some years now. And to me, there is no question about who the greatest woman of all time is. It's me.
It's you say. Age difference, obviously. 17 years in boxing is a significant age difference.
I think even Laila Ali in her prime couldn't beat me in the fight. And I think that she is great. She is great. You know, I think that she can fight. She's a bigger woman than me. She's taller. Actually, she's 5'11". I'm 5'8", 5'9". And she has, I mean, it say 24-0, but her record is 24-0, 21 knockouts, I believe. My record is 17-0 with, I think, 3 knockouts. Listen, Laila, it's not no hard feelings. I just want to know who the best is. And the only way to figure out who the best is to fight. We ain't got to keep talking. We don't have to keep.
Now, let me put this in perspective. This was before she lost the hope that I might fight her. So she tried to speak more respectfully and polished, and she did what her team told her. But then 2 months later, the mask came off again.
That's not gonna happen.
Come on now, listen.
Did she turn the money down?
She did. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
no, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Laila can rumble though.
She can't rumble like Ann Wolf. I said who's the best from that era. Ann Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila, oh so pretty ass out. Laila.
See, that's the comment that a lot of people were talking about when they said they feel like Clarissa Shields was hating on Laila Ali by making that comment, because we know that Laila Ali is a very stunning, aesthetically pleasing to the eyes type of lady. And, you know, maybe she has some disdain towards Laila Ali. I don't know. But let's continue, y'all, because this is interesting and entertaining.
Oh, so pretty ass out. That's the truth.
Now that was the real her. I've never been concerned with who was regarded as the best or the greatest or who had the most accolades or titles. I really haven't.
You've competed on so many high levels. What's it feel like to be an undefeated champ?
It feels good. I mean, anytime I think you work hard at your skill, you guys know how that is.
Absolutely.
And to be able to reach that level, you know, that peak of being one of the best, it's an amazing feeling. So,
or the best.
Yeah.
Or the best.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm happy just being one of. My father always said he was the best. That wasn't really my thing. My thing is I want to be the best in my weight class. I want to be undefeated, and I want to be a world champion. And those things I attain. So call it what you want to.
Amen.
So, yeah.
I will say, becoming a WBC champion, like my father and so many greats before him, was an accomplishment that I will always be proud of. Every female fighter who wins a WBC title receives her belt with my face displayed on it.
Oh, y'all. She throwing some shade right there when she held up that belt, y'all. Let's rewind that back and look at her smiling. Look. Look what she said.
That I will always be proud of. Every female fighter who wins a WBC title receives her belt with my face displayed on it. Now that
she know what she's doing, y'all. You said, I think they're gonna fight. Laila gonna show her that whip wop Aries Spears on Vlad TV. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going.
truly is something special to me. So Did her plan work? Did she make me mad enough to come out of retirement after 18 years and start training again to make her dream of fighting me and having a big payday courtesy of Laila Ali come true? Absolutely not. After years of blatant lies and vile disrespect, making unsolicited negative remarks about me, questioning the legitimacy of my boxing legacy, and having the audacity to cross the line by disrespecting my deceased father, trying to use his name to discredit his daughter.
Yeah. So yes, let's talk about that real quickly because she has been throwing up her father, and I think that is kind of disrespectful. Jesslyn, you said you're Layla's agent. You find this sad. Do you think that Layla has a right to come back and defend herself? By saying what she's claiming on here, or do you think she should just let it go, take the high road, and just not even feed it any attention? Because she could do that. So she's garnering up a lot of attention here. But let's hear now. If you're talking about someone's deceased father and then dissing them in the same breath, that is quite disrespectful, y'all. So let's hear what she has to say about that.
By disrespecting my deceased father, trying to use his name to discredit his daughter.
Listen, Muhammad Ali would never. Her daddy would never. Her daddy would never. Maybe she don't have that in her genes.
She will not be.
She said maybe she don't have it in her genes. Yeah, you shouldn't be talking about someone's deceased father like that.
Rewarded with the opportunity to share the ring with me or anything else. There's your answer. When I was still active, I held boxing in the highest regard. It's what I did full time. I put all of my energy and focus into it. I wasn't distracted, trying to do a little of this and a little of that. I was locked in, dedicated, disciplined, mastering my craft. I had the best of the best, excellent trainers, including Buddy McGirt, Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather Sr., who all held me to a very high standard. Boxing is in my DNA, and it will always be my first love. Now, after all this she's put me through, I would never partner or collaborate with her on anything. Now, I've seen some comments from people saying, she's been so quiet, ever since I put out part 1. Maybe she's finally going to take some responsibility and try to do.
She has not been quiet ever since part 1. I don't know if y'all heard the podcast. I was listening to it last night, but oh my gosh, excuse my cat. But she had some type of podcast on there, and she was talking about Laila Ali, and basically she was saying Laila Ali wouldn't be anything if it weren't for her father. Now, you said Laila has never lost a fight. She's 24 and 21 of those wins were knockouts. And then you said, I don't know, Shields ain't nothing to sleep on, though, especially with Papoose in her corner. I think that she does feel empowered with Papoose in her corner. I definitely can see that, where her ego has been boosted. And you said Laila is a good fighter, y'all. Interesting take on it. So I see that a lot of people would be interested in seeing this if they were to get into the ring with one another.
Do better. But in reality, she's been running her same predictable playbook, misleading and deceiving the public. Her team has been busy trying to clean up the mess she's made over these years. They're literally running paid online ads with old footage of her signing her first contract and touting the Bible. Will she be taking any responsibility for her actions or just keep pretending? The bottom line is, she crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. She showed me and the world who she really is. And like Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Now, just as I told her many years ago when she reached out to me for advice and I gave it to her freely, I encouraged her to build a brand on integrity and respect and surround herself with good people.
Laila Ali told me to build my brand, a good brand, and a brand that I want to represent and stand for. And she said, have good people behind me who I trust, Laila Ali.
As a boxer, I was unapologetic.
Yeah, she just keeps on showing the receipts and the evidence that does not fail to reveal the truth.
Confident, and I believed I couldn't be beaten. And I proved it every time I stepped into the ring. As an entrepreneur, I've consistently carried that same mindset forward through the brand and the businesses that I've built from the ground up. Let's get real laser focused for a moment. It all started back in 2018 when I went on The Breakfast Club to promote my cookbook. Her record was 8-0 with 2 knockouts. Now remember, she and I were on good terms at the time. I even mentioned her and said nice things about her. Now, during the interview, I was asked, would I make a comeback to boxing? I said I wasn't planning on making a comeback, and I didn't feel there was anyone out there who would give me a real challenge. That's how I felt. Well, she heard that and got in her feelings because she felt that I should see her as a challenge.
You know, her saying, oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class. And, you know, I'm just like, you know, nah. Like, I'm the best female boxer that I've ever seen. And, you know, if Laila Ali wants to come back, we can rumble. We can go. You're not going to come back and beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can happen. You know, I just don't like the disrespect. I never used her name to try to be like, you know, try to call her out of retirement.
Now, what do y'all think? She said she never tried to use her name, and she said that Laila Ali disrespected her because she did not mention her as a challenge to fight her. So I don't know. I think some of this is in her head, y'all. I really do think she's been secretly comparing herself to Laila Ali from the moment that they met. That's what I really think.
It's basically like she talking about she come out of retirement, she just gonna beat me if she decided to. And people think that I start to beat her.
How did the relationship sour?
She goes on this interview and says, oh, I would come out of retirement, but there's no one good enough to give me a challenge.
So the one thing we both agree on is
she took that personal, y'all. She took that personally. She felt offended. You said, I think Clarissa is ruffling up Layla's feathers to pull her out and get a fat paycheck, win or lose. And then also, I think that she wants to basically use Laila Ali's name to help her legacy as well. Because if she can say, oh, you know what? I got in the ring with Laila Ali, then that's going to actually stamp her even more. That's what I think she's doing as well. You said, I think the boxing world is the ones comparing her to Laila.
How this started. Now let me tell you why I didn't see her as a challenge. At the time, I had been retired from boxing about 11 or 12 years, 24-0, 21 knockouts, 5 world titles, right? I literally retired from boxing because I ran out of competition. It's public information. I would have to be inspired to make a comeback, and I didn't see anybody out there that I was inspired by, including her. I know she's an Olympic gold medalist, but let's not forget, in Olympic boxing, you're going up against amateurs, not professionals. I saw her fight as an amateur, and I saw her fight as a professional, and I didn't feel that she would be competition for me. In fact, you know what? Let her tell you exactly what I mean.
You mentioned you would knock Breakus out.
Yes, I would.
You only have 2 knockouts in 10 fights.
Yep.
Why is that?
Because women only go too many rounds.
All of the women who have been collecting knockouts got them in 2-minute rounds.
That's the main reason. As you've seen from my last fight, me turning pro with only 10 fights, you have to learn how to fight as a professional fighter. And when I came from the amateurs to the pros, I thought everything was the same. I'm like, I'm gonna do the same stuff I did in the amateurs, but
okay, so it is coming out of her mouth that she was initially fighting amateurs and now she's moving on to the pros. So now she's going to tell you what she experienced as she started fighting pros.
Training with Coach John David showed me that amateur boxing compared to professional boxing and punching is completely different. Amateur boxing compared to professional boxing and punching is completely different. These last what? 2 years, he has shown me so much. And from when you see my fight against Hammer, we only worked together for maybe 6 months. And then you see my fight with Habazine, just the body shots, how I can pick my shots now, how powerful and sharp I am. All that had to be changed. So when it comes to the knockouts, one, I've stunned every girl I've ever boxed against out of my 10 fights. Toward the end of the round, middle of the round, but when they only have to get beat up for 2 minutes and then go back and rest for a minute, it's not enough time for me to break them down some more.
She's still trying to learn how to put her punches together and fight like a professional. I've been knocking opponents out since my pro debut, my very first fight. I have more knockouts than she has wins. She started all of this with me because I didn't see her as a challenge for me. Here we are in 2025, and she's only added one more knockout. She's still trying to learn how to throw her punches and fight like a professional.
I think that I'm so good that I'm hard on myself because I should be knocking these girls out. If I can go on there and win unanimous decisions, I'm always asking myself after the fight, why didn't you get the knockout? How come didn't the knockout come? I got all the skills and the power and everything. I just have to figure it out and put it all together.
Yes, so she is saying that she has to figure it out. She's not lying, y'all. She's not lying. You know, but Clarissa Shields is still kind of young, y'all. She's very young still.
I would have knocked her out.
Really want to become the full potential fighter that I want to be. Like, I think people now, like, you know, you talking about full potential, you got 13 real titles, like, how much more greater can you be? It's like, I can start sleeping people, you know? I can get some knockouts on my record.
Yeah, she can knock me out.
She has a mentally young mindset, and I think Laila has a more matured mindset, and that's just something that's going to come with life experience. But yeah, so Laila is saying that she does not believe Clarissa can knock her out at all.
Now maybe someday she'll discover her own identity and who she is truly meant to be without riding my coattails or the Ali name. I am one of one, and this lane is closed.
All right, now she spoke her piece, y'all, and ended it with a picture of her and her father. And look at that in the boxing ring.
I did this all myself. There's no camera crew here. There's no script writer. There's no hair and makeup. It's just me and my iPhone and my ring light. My setup.
Okay.
It was worth the simple gesture of creating a free YouTube page and Instagram page where I can house this content so the truth can live right alongside all the lies that have been spread all these years. I'm not monetizing my pages. This was never about a fight for me. If I would have simply said I wasn't going to fight her in the beginning, no one would have listened to the truth about what's really been going on all these years. I want the same media and blogs and content creators who are exposed to the lies to also see the truth. That's why I released my answer in this format. Thank you for watching and much love to you all.
All right now. All right. Well, get it, Miss Ali. Okay. I'm not mad at her response, y'all. So anyway, let's see what y'all are talking about in the comment section. Jocelyn said, well said, Laila. Very well stated. You said, I'm glad I lived to see her fight in her prime. Yeah, definitely. Undisputed, undefeated female heavyweight champion of the world. And so she's going to basically have that legacy to live on and supersede her when she's long gone. When people talk about her, she can still say that she holds that title. Nobody took it from her. And I think that Clarissa Shields felt like, you know, if they got into the ring, she could use that fight and that match against Laila Ali so she could actually use it to basically you know, jumpstart her name. Or I guess, you know, she'll have a way to basically, I'm trying to think of the right word to say, but like use that to push her name out there even more. And I don't want to say clout chasing, because Clarissa Shields has basically established her own, you know, lane within her own right. But going after Laila Ali, I don't think that the way that she did it was the best way to do it, especially if she wanted to get her in the ring. Now, had she not been so disrespectful, I think Laila probably would have considered it on a serious level with the right amount of money. But then again, like Laila said, she didn't find anybody that she was inspired to give her the type of competition that she would have been seeking. And I don't think that's something that Clarissa Shields should have taken to heart or felt offended by, especially because she's 17. Laila Ali is 17 years Clarissa Shields senior. So why would she even think that she would be the competition that Laila Ali was talking about? That she made all this whole narrative up in her head, y'all. So it's very interesting with the likes of a Clarissa Shields, what she can conjure up in her head and these narratives that she's feeding herself and feeding, social media and the rest of the world. You said not heavyweight, super middleweight. Oh, sorry for saying if I spoke incorrectly, y'all. Oh, and light and heavyweight. Yeah, but I think I think Laila Ali um stated her claim very well. I think that maybe she felt the need to come on and defend herself because she got tired of her name being in Clarissa Shields' mouth. That's what I think, y'all. You said I said that it was oh, okay, you said it. Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think that Layla was, you know, did she need to come on and say anything, or do you think she should have just ignored everything? You think she should have just continued to let Clarissa Shields say what she was saying and not even respond to it at all? She did what she did. And I don't think that, people are looking like Layla Ali shouldn't have said anything. I think they are in support of her because she didn't come out saying things in a very crass or negative way, but she did stand firm in, her opinions, her thoughts, her beliefs, and what she found, to be disrespectful. And I think she was a little disappointed by Clarissa Shields, that she thought that they were very cool. From my understanding, she was giving Clarissa Shields some pointers, some advice in her career path. And it's kind of like she feels a little backstab, y'all. What do you think? How would you feel if someone did that to you? You said, I think Layla, let it be known I'm a bad one and you'll never. Okay. Paint those nails, Layla. Paint those nails. I think a lot of women can definitely attest to this, that sometimes when they don't even think someone is looking at them as competition, they're trying to help the person out. And that person sees them as competition. You didn't even know y'all were competing, but in their head, that woman is competing with you. That happened to my friend in Dallas. She was telling me about this woman that always wanted a ride home from work. And then they went on winter break. They came back from after Christmas. The woman stopped speaking to her and started talking about her with the rest of the women that she worked with, y'all. Females go through this all the freaking time. So it's very disappointing to see that happening with melanated females in boxing. But unfortunately, this is the way of the world in which we live. Shout out to Laila Ali. Shout out to all the viewers that came here today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you wish. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate your time spending it with me today, y'all. I hope y'all have been having a good week, a good day. Tomorrow is supposed to be Halloween, trick or treat. What are y'all doing? Handing out candy? Are y'all dressing up? Do y'all partake? That is a pagan holiday, by the way. And I do believe that that is the day that we can call upon our ancestors, y'all. And I think sometimes they make a mockery of it, witches and goblins and goons. Oh my. You said if she was mature, she would have asked Layla to be her mentor. I think she definitely should have asked for Layla to be her mentor instead of trying to compete with the mentor, right? Because the mentor was trying to see her win. The mentor was trying to give her, it didn't try, gave her advice, even had her on her podcast, y'all. Flew out there to interview her, to put eyes on her, to, put her more into the forefront. So why would Laila Ali try to compete with Clarissa Shields and be jealous of her, y'all? That didn't even make logical sense. But I guess it made logical sense in Clarissa Shields' world, in her head, y'all. So you got a lot of people walking around on this globe, on this planet, thinking things about you that are not true, and they have convinced themselves of the narrative that's floating in their head, and they want everybody else to believe it. And we've clearly seen that. You said she needs clout. Yes, she does. I mean, that's what it's given to me. It's given that. very much so. And I think if she continues, what's good, Don, the Lakers fan? I also feel like if she just continues to be herself, like everybody has been saying, if she just be herself, people will embrace her for the boxer that she is. But when you start pulling out these antics, you can lose a certain fan base because they don't like to see this, right? They might be fans of Laila Ali and they might get turned off from the antics of a Clarissa Shields. So I think she should, kind of tread a little lightly when it comes to how am I doing? Tired. When it comes to like talking about legends that, came before her time. I think people got to be real careful and be respectful of stuff like that. You can't come into an industry, and then have someone in the industry that welcomed you, that you look up to, and then you start talking about that person saying they're jealous of you. That makes no sense, y'all. Who does that? But people do it. You said, I hope your day is going well. Y'all, I have a story time for y'all, but I might save it for another day. I was thinking about where you was at. Glad you're here. Glad to see y'all in the building. Y'all, I have a freaking story time. Tell us the story. I don't even know if I feel like telling the story, y'all. You said, hey, Long, for real, my night is boring. Yeah, I really want to hear this story. It's about what happened earlier today. It's about what happened earlier today that got my freaking energy feeling how it was feeling, but I'm trying to overcome it because there are people out here going through much worse. Okay? Look, if you have a boring night, you are still blessed. Some people have a very eventful night full of drama. Be glad you don't have that going on. Okay? You said, tell it I'm driving. Oh, man. So just when. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened today. So y'all know that I work with children, right? Now, everybody knows my consensus of how I feel about these children at these schools, these miscreants, these hoodlums, these heathens, okay? So you got popcorn and your ears are open? Man, look. So I get to the school, and lo and behold, it's a school that I've been to before, but I didn't know that was a school I was going to. So I get in there. Now, I don't know what grade I'm working with today. Lo and behold, they take me to the freaking 5th grade hall, y'all. I don't do 5th grade. I already said I don't go past 3rd grade. We already know why. Because unlike Clarissa Shields and unlike Laila Ali, I'm not 5'8". I'm not 5'9". I'm not 5'11". I'm petite framed, okay? And I blend in with the children. So I don't want them sizing me up thinking they can try me, because I will go to jail. Okay? I will go to jail for defending myself against a juvenile. I don't care. Now, let me tell you what happened to my friend in Dallas. The other week, she got attacked by one of these miscreants. They hit her in the back of her head. So the rule in the school is this, and I've heard other teachers say that they got attacked. One teacher got attacked by a kindergartner and was out for 3 days. I said, how in the world does that happen? Because you let them try me. You let a kindergartner try me. I think they said they injured her arm or she broke her arm or something like that. I don't even know how this happens. And then you also got to think, my friend in Dallas, they have her working with what they call SPED. Okay, you understand what I mean when I say SPED, right? So these children have extra strength, right? Whatever they're lacking up here, they have it in muscle power. So you got to be extremely careful with them. So she said the child attacked her and hit her in the back of the head. So I said, well, what did you do? She said, I was trying to get away from him. I was running from him. So she left out of the classroom, y'all, ran into another classroom, and 2 of the people that was in the classroom with her, one is an 80-year-old female. What is she going to do? And the other one, they were laughing. It's not funny, right? It's not funny because you let them hit me. I'm probably going to hit them back. I'm sorry to say that. So you said you'd be in jail? I'm telling you. You said if I had to defend myself, I will, and I don't care if I go down. I'm telling you, I ate my chips too soon. I should have saved them for this. Oh, bro, and no, it's not. It's not funny, y'all. So, okay, so today when they took me down the fifth grade hall, I've been to this school before. I knew at fifth grade where fifth grade hall was. I didn't want to deal with them. I like pulling groups of children because I like dealing with the multilingual English learner, those type of students. So I'll work with all grade levels, but it's a small group of them at one time. So I enjoy that. That's what I did last time. So this day, I was supposed to be at the school today and tomorrow working with fifth grade. So when I get in the classroom, first of all, I go down the hall. I'm like, oh no, I don't even know how this is going to go, right? Now, keep in mind that for some reason, these children today look like they're on steroids, okay? They look like they are freaking in high school already, in fifth grade, all right? And then you got little old me walking in there, looking small, thin frame, petite. I don't look like a threat. I have a light voice. Everything about me is sweet and petite, okay? I'm like a little sweet treat, okay? So, you know, these little vultures are just sizing me up, eyeing me down, right? It's like a lamb going into the lion's den. That's how I see this. So I'm already on defense mode because let one of these little heathens try it. Okay. So anyway, I go in there. I go in there. You said I must have come at the right time. They think they're hard until a real one check them. Okay. So I go up in there and there is another teacher in there and she's telling me what to do for the day, what to expect. You know, they had everything laid out on the desk for me. Their teacher is going to be out for 2 days. So I had to take roll, right? I had to make sure that I took attendance for today. I always make it a practice to count how many students are on the attendance sheet. And then I count the students that are there in the classroom so I can keep account of all the children. 30 of these little criminals, y'all. 30 of these heathens. That's too many in one classroom, right? Too many of these things in one classroom. Let's start there. It's already a lot of energy. It's not even 8:30 a.m. Why the freak do y'all have all this energy? Why y'all extra hype and loud for no reason, right? It was so bad that the teacher, when she left out the classroom, she went back across the hall. She had to come out of her classroom and come back into our classroom to tell the heathens to be quiet. She said, I can hear y'all across the hall. If I have to come over here again, we're calling parents. Okay. Don't make me have to come back over here. That was already their warning, right? Because they don't know me. So, of course, they're not going to take too kindly to me threatening them. But I will threaten if I have to, right? So I'm sitting there. Well, I'm standing there trying to do attendance. I'm calling them. They're just yap, yap, yap. Mouthy, mouthy, mouth. Just loud. Nobody wants to hear that at 8:00 a.m. It's too much freaking noise. 30 miscreants, okay, acting like they're uncivilized, right? Acting like as if they have no home training. It gets to be loud. I keep asking them to be quiet. I let them know I'm not disrespecting y'all. Don't disrespect me because I do believe that children are supposed to be respected. I don't think that just because you're an adult, you come into a classroom setting and you start just, being, I guess, mean or whatever to them. So I want them to understand that, yes, I was your age one time. I wouldn't want anyone speaking to me that way. Okay. So you said I'd be tired and almost a tired zombie in the morning. Right. But not them. Jocelyn said big things come in small packages. My mom was a petite, real one, not to be played with. We got your back. It's very true, Jocelyn. And that's why I said it'll never be a fair fight with me. Shout out to people that fight fair. But I am not going to fight fair already because I have a disadvantage because of my height and my size. So I'm not going to fight fair. So basically, I am going to try to unalive someone if they threaten my life. That's all it is going. It's no in between about it, right? Because you shouldn't even be coming my way to begin with. Anyway, you said, and trust me, if you got a phone call from home and you got one on the bus, it's a dreaded ride home. These children, look, let me tell y'all, these are a whole different tribe of entities of children. So I tell them to quiet down. I'm letting them know not to disrespect me. I'm saying all these things to them. They have it in their head that they're going to do what they want to do, right? So we're trying to get through math. Now, I want you to understand that I told you that math was not my strong subject, but they were doing mixed fraction multiplication math. And I had to try to figure it out on the spot, y'all. You know how many years it's been since I had to do this type of stuff? Who sits there and multiplies mixed fractions every day? Not I, said the duck. So I'm in my head trying to go over the answer sheet that the teacher gave me so that if they have a question, I can explain it to them. Even though the teacher wrote all the information on the paper, all I had to do was check their work. I try not to be one of those lazy type substitutes. I'm very engaged with the children. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out in my head how she arrived at her answers. So she showed her work. So I kind of figured out how to do it. All right. So we're going over that. But they keep talking. They just keep, being loud, being obnoxious. Nobody can hear me. I can barely hear myself talk. After I have told them to stop talking, I have demanded that they stop talking. I have raised my voice. I don't have the energy to be yelling at criminals, right? Miscreants, hoodlums, heathens. I don't have the energy for it. So I tell them like this, I don't have to be here, okay? I already know how to do this. I don't have to be here. Oh, he said bye. I gave them the look of the freaking devil himself. I said, if you have something to say it to me. Don't be making little side comments. You say what you have to say to me. See, now all of a sudden, that's way too much because it's like I'm basically challenging a fifth grader. I shouldn't even be getting that upset, right? But these little heathens will push you to that point because of their freaking disrespect. So they think it's cute. They think it's funny. Let me see what y'all saying in the comment section. Math ain't my strong subject either. It's okay. We all struggle with something. My brain will be completely fried and unresponsive. I just write up the whole class. Right. Say it to my face, bro. You can't, but see, I can't be saying stuff. I don't want to be saying stuff like that to them because, you know what I'm saying? They don't have a rapport with me yet. So if I say, oh, say it to my face, and then one of them gets in my face, I'm going to be ready to put hands on somebody's child. Okay. So I try to be very selective with my vocabulary. So anyway, they thinking it's funny. So I said, you know what? I sat down at the desk. I was about to get the phone and call the office. But sometimes, even if you call the office, they don't send someone right away. They take their time. They don't take it seriously, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for it today. I woke up like 3 or 4 times last night out of my sleep. I'm already barely here. And y'all think y'all going to sit up here and challenge me like this? I got my stuff. I started packing up. The 2 teachers were on the other side of the door outside their classroom looking at me like, is everything okay? What's wrong? I said, y'all find somebody else to babysit them because I'm not babysitting today. I told them, I said, I'm not a babysitter. And I'm not going to be in here babysitting y'all because that's basically what they needed is a freaking babysitter and a daycare worker. I'm not that, okay? So I left. F them children, okay? F them children. Let them sit there and struggle by themselves. So everybody's just looking, right? So I was like, you know what? It's kind of unprofessional for me to just walk out, right? It's the first time I've ever done this. No, it's the second time. Because I remember before I was with kindergarten, then they switched me to like 7th grade in the middle of the day. I did not sign up for that. I signed up for kindergarten. Then you're going to tell me halfway through the day, oh, we need you in 7th grade? I said, I didn't know the school even went to 7th grade. Oh, the 7th graders are upstairs. I said, oh, they are? So I come out of the kindergarten class. Here comes the principal trying to introduce me to the other grade So she's in the hallway speaking to the children. I said, who are those? The 7th graders? No, those are the 5th graders. I'm like, what the hell? Well, where the hell are the 7th graders? She takes me outside. I said, oh, they're at recess? You mean to tell me these heathens get recess? These hooligans? They're at recess, y'all. We walked back from from recess to the classroom. I sat in that seat for a hot 10 seconds at best. I was looking at them. They were looking at me. I didn't like the energy. I said, F this. I got the F up. Miss such and such, is everything okay? I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Because I already felt the energy. I already felt the attention. Like, you want to try me, but we're not doing that. So I just got up and left, right? Because I'm not about to do it today. We're not doing that today. So then they were like, okay, it's okay. We'll get somebody to come here. Well, we can use you in 2nd grade. I go to y'all to tell you background and environment has a lot to do with how your children act. Because I got the 2nd grade, y'all. And I heard somebody say that one of the 2nd graders had a brother that was basically selling drugs at the school, y'all. Did he get expelled? No. 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 He was a drug dealer at the school. So I'm just like, 2nd grade was horrible. It was horrific. I didn't know that elementary age children could be so just tainted and terrible. I didn't know. And this really comes from the upbringing, the environment, and their background. And it's sad because I'm trying to understand what were the freaking parents doing when they got together and procreated these monsters out here. Anyway, let me get back to what happened today. So I leave out the class. I let the teachers know that I'm not a babysitter. They can find somebody else to babysit. I go to the office. I let them know. I said, take me off the schedule for today, please. And you can take me off for tomorrow because I'm not coming back in here for this. So she was like, okay, I'll take you off, but can you just let them know? So I go into the little staff office, their admin office, and then they're trying to show me where the office is. And I said, I don't see anyone. So the principal's sitting right there. I was like, okay, I've met the principal before. You know how I remember the principal before? Because last time when I went to the school, I was supposed to be the English learner teacher for the day. He tells me when I walk in there, oh, do you mind substituting for 5th grade today? I said, I actually prefer not to substitute for 5th grade. So they found this melanated guy to do it. Tall, nice looking, melanated guy, in fit, young. I said, I feel like he's a good fit. I feel like you should have been asking him to begin with. Why would you ask me to want to deal with 5th graders? That didn't even make logical sense. But anyway, I digress. So I go in there, I talk to the principal, right? Now this principal, he was listening to what I had to say. And I said, I don't have to deal with this. And so I'm not going to deal with it. I let him know what happened. I let him know, I was kind of upset. So, but he was listening. He said, well, what if I go in there? He said, maybe we need to call the BMT and call some parents. I'm like, I've already seen this before. You call a BMT, which is a behavioral specialist. They go in there, they talk to them, they threaten them, they leave back out. I don't have time for that. And then he was like, maybe I can go in there, and sit down with him. I said, well, if you go in there, I said, what happens when you leave? So he, had me to go back in there. I gave it another shot, y'all. I didn't completely give up. I went back in there. Hold on, y'all. I got to see these comments. You said I got a short temper. You said they take forever. I'll never be a babysitter. F them kids. Tell it. I'll be like, not interested. OFC, not. What kind of school? It's called School from Hell. Sorry, it's not funny, but I could just imagine. Right. So I go back in there. When I go back in there, y'all, it's this Caucasian lady in there, blonde head. It was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Like nobody was talking, everything was silent. Everybody's acting like they're writing, like they're doing some work. You remember how Bernie Mac said, "Oh, I can tell whose mama that is because you the one sitting there acting like you're doing some work." Right. That's how they were acting, like they were doing some work. So we get in there, the principal sits down, I sit there. It was a lot of reinforcements coming in that classroom, I can tell you that. Everybody's acting like they're doing what they're supposed to do. So later on, further down the line, the assistant principal comes in, introduces herself. "Oh, yes, I know that you said you want to be off the schedule for tomorrow." And then she introduces and shakes my hand. "Do you think that you could fill in for first grade for tomorrow?" I told her, I said, "Yeah, I can do first grade tomorrow." I really didn't want to see these. I don't even want to see their faces, y'all. That's how I feel. And then some of them had the nerve to tell me, "Oh, I think I remember you." I said, "Yes, because I've been here before. So you remember me, but you still want to be disrespectful. How rude." Okay. So the principal's in there observing and watching. We're going through the math work. I'm calling on people. We're going through the motions, right? So all of a sudden, this one of these same boys, same obnoxious ass boys, he's laughing. Now he already had infuriated me earlier because you know how they want to giggle and snicker and think it's funny and have this dumb look on their face. So it's just like I gave him the look of freaking death, right? Like I could really attack the F out of you right now. So I was like, you know what? Let me ignore him. But then while I'm up there, and we're at the board working on math problems, he's giggling with somebody at his group. So I looked at him, I said, "What's funny?" He's smiling. That's when the principal said, "Get up, you two, go in the hallway. Time to call your parents." So they get up, they leave. We continue on with the lesson, right? So I want to say maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. They come back to class. Well, he comes back with the principal. He sits down. There are no more issues out of him. As a matter of fact, now all of a sudden he's a volunteer raising his hand. He wants to answer the question. Y'all, he came to the board at least twice and got the answer right. So you mean to tell me you could have done this before, but it took them threatening to call your parents and calling your parents for you to participate in class and act like you got some common sense? This is what it took for you to do what you're supposed to do anyway? That is really sad. Then there was this little other obnoxious rascal, okay? He wants to make noise in the back of the class. Everything has to be an ad lib. Okay. Stop talking like that. Stop saying that. You're disruptive. Okay. Dumb stuff. Idiotic, just idiotic bull s, right? I'm trying not to cuss, y'all. Just dumb for no reason, right? So to the point that if this were my child, I would be embarrassed to claim this idiot as my child, right? So he's doing that the whole time. And I have told him to stop. It's very disrespectful. It's very rude. You're being a distraction for the people that want to learn. Just stuff like that. Then people want to say little stuff under their breath where I can't hear it. And they're saying something because then the other one snickers or smiles and looks at me because one of the females was doing that. And I gave her the look of death. I don't have time for this rude behavior, just rude and disrespectful. So I can imagine what goes on in the household, y'all. So all of that was going on. And then they had sidebar conversations. The principal had to tell them to stop the talking in the sidebar conversations, right? So then we had another lady came in there and she said that if she had to get involved, they already knew what was up. Okay, because she wasn't having it. She's going to call their parents. She got all their parents' numbers. So basically, threatening tactics all day. Threatening tactics. Another woman had to come in there, told them, they tried with her, silent lunch. She doesn't want to hear it. Y'all, all day was a threat. All day was me telling them to be quiet. Stop talking. Y'all are disrespectful. Y'all are rude. Y'all too loud. They're yelling. This is how the day went. later on that day. Then, y'all, I should show you the notes that I got today. 2 girls wrote me letters before I went on my break because they had to go to music today. Okay. So during music time, I get like a 45-minute break. So the lady that came in the classroom said, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna take them down the hallway. I'm gonna, take them down the hallway. You don't have to. I'm gonna take them. So I guess, the principal had told them to walk them down the hallway because they can't handle walking down the hallway like 5th graders, y'all. They got to run, hop, jump, cause a disruption in the hallway. We can't make it through the hallway, y'all. So let me see what y'all are saying. You said I was just watching Bernie Mac earlier. If people be disrespectful to me, I give them the same thing. The switch is crazy from the kid. I'm dying over here. You laughing at me? My eyes would turn red. That's rude as F of those kids. I'm just imagining this. I was a terrible kid in school to the substitute teachers. I had silent lunch before, and let me tell y'all, it's torture mentally. Yeah, so they don't care. You could. They're probably used to this silent lunch, y'all. They're probably used to it. So, all right, let me see if I can bring up on the screen. If I can share, hold on. I'm gonna share if I can share my screen, I'll share it. If not, you're gonna see what I'm gonna hold this up to. So 2 girls wrote me letters. This is the impact that I have on children, y'all. Now these girls don't know me. Let me see if I can pull the letters up. And all right, so will it let me share? Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to share my screen so y'all can see. Gator boots. It says present or invite. Present an image file. Go to recents. Go to, hold on, y'all. Photos. Go here. Okay. All right. And it says open. Let me see if it will share, y'all. Okay. So on the screen, I have Exhibit A, y'all. I come with receipts. It says, they didn't know my name, to the sub teacher. And she put, oh, hold on. I got to take it off the screen, y'all. Sorry. Because it's showing her name. So I'm sorry. I can't have that on the screen. But it says, I'm sorry about our class. Hold on. They only act like this when our teacher is not here. I'll be sure to tell our teacher, and I'm also sorry they made you leave, but I'm glad you came back. It's only like a handful of people who was acting up. If you need any names, feel free to ask me. And the people who switched seats. So they have assigned seats. And so what they ended up doing was trying to be slick and switch their seats because they knew I didn't know where they sat. So they could act up with their friends, right? And the other children were telling on them. They're like, they don't sit there. They're not supposed to sit there. So I told them, I said, sit in your assigned seats. And the people who switch seats are the ones who will guarantee give you hard problems. Sorry, once again, with a heart and a smiley face. Okay. Then I got another one. So hold on. I think I can share this next one with y'all. Let me find it real quickly, okay? Because I don't think she wrote her name on it. And I don't want to invade anyone's privacy, y'all. Okay, so we got to protect the children regardless at all costs, right? So this one says, sorry. I'm sorry for the class actions. They always do this. Hold on. They always do this. I guess she meant to say there is a sub. Now, keep in mind, they're in 5th grade, but this is how they write. There is a sub. They are excited for Halloween, but I think you're a cool person. And for teaching the class, you have guts to do this. They are really crazy when events coming up, but all they do is talk and play. Just be confident, be yourself. If you need names, feel free to ask me once again. Sorry. Okay, she wrote her name, so I got to take this off. Sorry, y'all. Then she drew hearts with a happy face. You're amazing. You're a great sub. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So that's, and those girls never met me before, y'all, but they were just expressing their disdain for what was going on in the class. So, you know, it was a hot mess today. And I made it through, y'all. I'm a survivor. I survived. I'm trying to think what else I can tell y'all. Throughout the day, they switched classes. So that group left and went across the hall. Then there was another group that came. And even in that class, it was the same nonsense behavior. Let me see. I made it through that. Oh, let me tell y'all what happened. Hold on. It was something that happened for recess, y'all. So recess time, they were supposed to get 30 minutes for recess, y'all. They got 13 minutes of freaking recess because it took them so long to calm down, to get themselves together. We were walking down the hallway. We got stopped in the hallway by one of the staff members that was in there earlier because she said, y'all stop right there. I had to point out to them that kindergarten was coming up the hallway. Oh, 5th grade. Look at kindergarten. Look how they know how to walk down the hallway and behave and be quiet and walk in a straight line facing forward. Soon as the 5th graders got in the hallway, I saw a few boys jumping up and down like we're at the jungle gym because we're in the hallway, I guess. You know, laughing, joking, playing, turning around, just doing a bunch of stupid stuff, causing a disruption in the hallway as we're moving past the classrooms. I said, good job, kindergarten. Look, show 5th grade how you're supposed to walk down the hallway. So the staff member that saw them earlier, that had walked them, you know, to their music class and that had walked them to lunch, told them to stop in their tracks because she didn't like what she saw. Why are they walking down the hallway? Why did they consistently have to tell them to be quiet? So now everybody has to stop. Oh man, they sucking their teeth. They got attitude. So she had to tell them, I don't care about your attitude. And the females, she definitely didn't care. Oh, suck your teeth again. That's what she told them. Suck your teeth again. Don't make me suck your teeth again. That's how she was talking to him. I was over it at that point. So then I guess there was like a BMT office, behavioral management technician or whatever. So one of the little boys, the big mouth boys, the obnoxious boy, I got so irritated with him earlier. I told him to get out of the class. I said, you can go. I didn't care where he went as long as he was gone. So he walks out the classroom. I didn't care. So another teacher follows him out the classroom. I didn't want him back. He could stay gone. As a matter of fact, he could get lost. So he goes, he's at the end of the hall. He's at the end of the line or whatever, being how he's being. So she told him to go into that office over there and speak to whomever because she didn't like how he was behaving in line. And I said, yep. I said, because he got a mouth on him. Man, what you talking about? What you talking about? See, right there, that back talk, that disrespect, that rude behavior, right there. All the attitude, y'all. It's just giving too much attitude. They had too much attitude today. And I told them, I said, y'all got a lot of attitude. I said, y'all very disrespectful and rude. A lot of unnecessary attitude. And I looked at them like I was disgusted because it was disgusting behavior, y'all. Very disgusting behavior. You saw those kids were bad. That's how they are. This is basically, I want to say, normalized behavior throughout the whole entire. Schools are like this. I guess y'all don't know, but schools are like this, y'all. So we finally make it to recess because actually I didn't care if they had recess or not. They didn't really deserve it, but I don't feel that children should be inside all day. I do think they need sunlight and fresh air. So because it took them so long to get themselves together, they only had about 13 minutes. It was time for us to leave. So I'm telling them they need to line up. It's time to go back in, right? They think that means to keep running around and play. I'm telling y'all, line up. You want to keep running around to play. Then we get inside, and it was like first graders coming through. They're so loud, they're blocking the first graders, looking erratic, looking just all disheveled. It was a hot mess, y'all. It was a freaking complete hot mess. Then they had the audacity to ask me when we get back in the classroom, why did you leave earlier? Are you coming back tomorrow? I said, no, I will never come back to this class. Do you think they deserve me to come back to there? I don't think so. I don't think so, y'all. Not I, said the duck. So, then one boy gonna talk about, you're the best substitute ever. I said, I cut him off. The only reason that you called me the best substitute ever, I said, is because y'all thought that y'all were gonna sit there and take advantage of me all day. I said, that's the only reason why you're saying that. So, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm so glad I didn't go into the profession of teaching. I don't second guess it. I was talking to a guy earlier, and he has a daughter, and she was teaching, I want to say at a college, I think. I think she was teaching at a college, and she quit. You know why she quit? Because she got threatened. Somebody threatened her life, called her the B word, and said, I will come in here and blow your head clean off. She quit. She didn't go back. Because you can't take that stuff lightly. And then also too, my friend in Dallas said that they were on lockdown today. Now, we were supposed to have a lockdown as well, but we didn't have a lockdown drill. For my friend, it was not a drill. It was actually something really going on. So the school had to go into a lockdown mode because somebody was shooting a few blocks over. It was an active shooter. Don't you know? She said those heathens at that school were hanging out the windows during the lockdown. You know what I told her? In a lockdown, let me explain what you're supposed to do. The blinds are supposed to be closed. All the children have to be in the classroom. You have to shut and lock the door. You have to pull down whatever is so that nobody can see in the classroom. So like they have like these windows where you can see, and you have to pull that down so no one can see in the classroom. The children have to go in a corner or hide, and they have to be extremely still and quiet in a lockdown. And they do these lockdown drills just in case something really does happen, so everybody knows how to stay safe and calm. Well, that's not what happened out in Dallas. Those heathens were hanging out the windows during a live active lockdown where there was a real shooter going down. I told my friend like this. I said, F those children. I said, F those kids. I said, you save yourself. I said, because I don't want something to happen to you because of those children. If a crazy person sees children hanging out the window, they're going to be like, oh, it's a whole group of them over there. We can just aim over there and get a group of them. And what if she's in the classroom with them? I said, you go save yourself. That's exactly what I told her to do. You said, am I going back tomorrow? You're the best substitute ever. I'm not going to be with them tomorrow. I'm not even on the schedule for them tomorrow. So I'll see what I decide to do, because I might I might end up doing something else tomorrow, y'all. They have worked my nerves today. Worked them, okay, heavily. And so I was just like, you know what? Let me calm myself down, because it's really not worth it. These hoodlums are not worth it. Then, y'all, let me tell you what happened outside in the parking lot. As if that wasn't enough. I go outside in the parking lot. It was already bad enough for dismissal time. They were just erratic for that too. But I was just like, let them have at it. Because you know what? I said, you know what? I said, y'all not my children. I said, y'all parents got to deal with this. I said, so if y'all don't want to learn, you sit there and do nothing. But for the ones that want to learn and they are asking me questions about the work because they're confused, I said, the rest of y'all will not disrupt this class, and you will be quiet. You're not going to sit here and keep talking just because you don't want to learn. So I go. So it's time for us to leave. I'm walking to the car. The buses are out there. Children are getting on the bus, right? The children are being dismissed. I see a parent going off. She's standing outside of her car at first, talking to the staff members dressed in a onesie, a white onesie at that, with black decoration on it. She's yelling, talking about, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. Why did y'all put him on the bus when I'm here? And something about his bus keeps getting changed. He keeps having changes with his bus, like that. So she's yelling. So I looked at the staff member. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's going on. So she's out there causing a scene in front of the staff, in front of the school, y'all. Then the staff member says, well, we'll go get him. We'll go get him. I'm going to get him right now. So she says, yeah, like this is ridiculous or whatever. So I saw her storm off, go back to her car, grab her baby, and then she starts storming off to the school, like she's walking to the school office. I was like, let me get out of here. It's too much erratic energy. Let me get the F out of here. And y'all, we had such beautiful weather today. Like by the time I left out of there, the weather was like 66 degrees, sunny weather today. It was beautiful outside. I really could have spent my day doing something else. They don't care about learning. Hoodlums, heathens. And you know, the sad part is they're supposed to be the adults of the future, and these things are going to procreate one day. That's the scary part. That's my story time for today, y'all. That was my story time. Like, share, and subscribe. That was my story time. If I could have recorded a lot of this, I could have done a voice record on the phone. I could have done a voice record. Y'all would have heard all of the hysteria in the background. Like, you couldn't even hear yourself think. Talk about doing math. You couldn't even hear yourself think, y'all. That's how bad it was. It was terrible. It was terrible. And then the teacher wrote on the paper, let me know who you have issues with and why. I left the whole paper blank. I'll send her an email, and I'll send her these two these two letters I got from these two females. Exactly everything you said Kim. I'm sending you love and light and kava tea. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Look, shout out to the teachers out there. I don't know how y'all do it. Blessings to you. I couldn't do it every day. I saw one lady, she was walking around with her retirement bag and roses. And I said, you got roses. She said, yeah, my first graders gave me these. I said, congratulations to you. I don't know how you do it. But you know, I do tell teachers this all the time. I appreciate you for what you do. Because when you actually get in there and work with these children, you actually get to see what they go through. It is nothing nice, y'all. Oh, and they had the nerve to ask me if they could listen to music in class while they work. They already get to listen to relaxation music with the timer. So it's like a relaxation vibe going on. I said, yeah, you can listen to the timer music, but you're not going to be playing music in your headphones. Well, our teacher lets us know. That's the problem now. You want to sit here and listen to music. When did they ever let us listen to music in class, y'all? Then they want to be on their laptops while we're going over worksheets. You know, just nonsense, just doing whatever, fiddling around with paper, playing with pencils. Oh, can I go get water? Can I go to the bathroom? It's just too much, y'all. Too much. But y'all, I'm drinking my clearly Canadian water. This is like my wine. I'm not supposed to have this sparkling water. But y'all, I needed something to calm my nerves, y'all. And that's one thing. I'll usually do water or Snickers, and I didn't want to do Snickers. because I had a Snickers in my bag, but I got this clearly Canadian water for today. That's like my wine. But I appreciate y'all listening to story time. I don't know if y'all were entertained or not, but y'all, it was a hot freaking mess today. It was a hot mess. So on my other channel, I kind of show y'all like behind the scenes footage of what it's like to substitute teach. Now you do get a lot of like today, there were children that recognized me in the hallway. They were like, I remember you. And y'all, guess what happened to me yesterday? You said you love the story time. Guess what happened to me yesterday? So I left the school yesterday, y'all, and I'm driving down the road. Now I'm a ways from the school. Like I'm not even near the school anymore. So I see some people on my peripheral. I got really good peripheral vision, y'all. I see somebody on the side of me trying to get my attention in another vehicle. So I look over. I saw like 3 children in the back seat, a group of children, and their mother in the front. They waving at me. She lets the window down. I let the window down. Hi, hi, hi. That's my teacher. I'm like, y'all. I waved, let the window up, and then when the light changed, I kept moving, y'all. Then I'm gonna tell you another day. This was just the other day. I leave the school. I go to the gas station. I walk in the gas station. Guess who I see? One of the children is in the gas station. That's my teacher for today. That's my substitute teacher for today. Hi. I'm like, hey. She was there with her daddy, right? And then I think I told y'all that I saw one of the children out here at the mailbox, y'all. Out here at the mailbox. I'm checking the freaking mail. He gets my attention. I turn around. He's talking about, I remember you. You were at my school. So I'm like, what school you go to? So he told me the school. Yeah, how about I was at the school the other day. Something said, what if I go in that class? What if I see that same boy? When I got in that class, guess who I saw? That same boy that was at the freaking mailbox. So the child lives in the neighborhood, y'all. It's too much. So I know not to ever go to that class again the rest of this year. I get in the class. He's talking about, I remember you. I said, I remember you too. It's just too much. They're recognizing me, y'all. They're recognizing me. So I have to pivot. Got to make cautious moves around here. I'm being recognized out in these streets. It's too much. Shout out to T-Gresh Realty. Shout out to T-Gresh Realty. I have an open house this weekend, y'all, that I have to prepare for. And that's something that I was working on when I was in class. I started preparing one of my open house flyers so I can go ahead and start promoting this open house. But Saturday, I will be doing an open house. So maybe I'll post some of that footage for y'all. And another thing that I wanted to do was speak a little bit more about real estate because the interest rates are starting to go down, and also go over this home warranty with y'all for people that say that, it's too much with the maintenance. They're scared because it's a lot of things that you have to worry about. All of this falls on your shoulders. But I'm going to show you that if you get a warranty, the warranty can help save you in a lot of instances, y'all. So I got this home warranty pulled up. And I might actually go over a little bit of that right now. You said that would be a treat. Please, Teachers Realty. So let me go ahead. This is actually, let me share my screen. This is actually my home warranty, y'all. Share the screen. Hold on. All right. So this is a real policy for a home warranty. Benefits of choice home warranty. Now you can choose whoever you want. There's American, I think it's called American Shield or something like that. It's a lot of different ones out there. So this one here says, with the choice of home warranty, breakdown and repairs on covered systems and appliances don't have to be a hassle. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, seller, or existing homeowner, a home warranty is an affordable way to preserve peace of mind and to protect covered items for your most valuable asset. Below are a few important facts you should know about home warranties. And I think this is very crucial for a lot of us out here. Thank you, Jocelyn. A lot of people that aren't privy to that, the fact that they can get a home warranty for their house. This will kind of show you some things that they cover. I only pay $50 a month, you all, for this. And the more that you pay, the more comprehensive your coverage will be. So it says that the average life expectancy of 9 critical appliances, home systems, is about 13 years. And the likelihood of failure of one of these systems in a given year is 68%. Home repair and remodel. So they're quoting where they got this information from. Homes on the market with the home warranty included sell on average 50% faster than homes without National Home Warranty Association. So like I was saying earlier, if you wanted to sell your home, a lot of times what the seller will do is gift a warranty to the buyer just to add peace of mind in the transaction of that sale. Yeah, $50, Jocelyn. Homes on the market, okay. Homes with warranties return a sales price that averaged 3% higher, okay, according to Business Week magazine. 8 of 10 buyers prefer to buy a home with a home warranty. Pretty true. A home system or appliance repair can range from $65 to $2,000 and replacement average of $1,085. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. It says, when does coverage begin and when does it end? So the coverage begins 30 days after your enrollment. So basically, you have to wait 30 days before you use it, okay? And receipt of applicable contract fees and continues for 365 days from your start date if you are able to provide proof of prior coverage through another warranty carrier showing no lapse of warranty coverage. CHW may start your new coverage when your old policy expires. How many service calls can you make? It says as many as you need. There is no limit to the number of times you can call for covered repairs during your contract term. And does a home warranty cover older systems and appliances? A home warranty provides repair or replacement of all covered systems and appliances that were in the home and in proper operating condition on the agreement effective date, and that have been properly installed and maintained no matter their age, make, or model. How do I make my service technician? How do I know my service technician is qualified? So they are going to pre-screen licensed independent contractors to come out and do the work for you. Okay. And can I renew each year? Yes. The plan may be renewable in the event that you will be notified of the prevailing rate in terms of renewal. Why should I renew my warranty? I haven't made any service calls. So your home systems or appliances can break down at any time, usually when you need them the most. That's why it's important to continue the protection plan. So you don't have to actually get this particular one. This just happened to be one that I got because I kept saying that I need to cover the house and I need to do this. So this tells you about basically it's 27 pages long. It's not too long, y'all. I'm not going to go over all 27 pages, but basically it kind of works like insurance, y'all. So, if something happens to your car, they'll call someone to come out to take a look at it, diagnose it, all of that. And for me, I pay a $100 deductible for whatever they come out for. Okay. And it does cover, I'm going to show you the things that it covers. So right here, it covers your washer, your dryer, all components and parts. It covers the built-in microwave, all components and parts. The oven, range, cooktop stove, all components and parts. Dishwasher, all components and parts. Garbage disposal, all components and parts. Refrigerator, all components and parts, including integral freezer unit. And then what's excluded is the audio visual equipment and internet connection components. Ceiling fan, exhaust fan, attic fan are covered, all component parts, okay? Garage door opener, covered, all components and parts. I didn't even know that part, y'all. I'm glad to know that. And air conditioning, heating, ductwork. And this can be an expensive repair. And then they tell you what's covered for that, okay? And then it tells you like the excluded things or whatever. You said that's an awesome warranty. What is that warranty called? It's called Choice Home Warranty, CHW. Then there's the water heater, y'all. The water heater is another very expensive component that is covered. All components and parts, including the tankless water heaters and the circulating pumps. So the tankless water heaters are the water heaters that are very small and they're tankless. So they're supposed to produce hot water at all times, that the hot water is not supposed to run out. Okay. And then the big ones, which are the circulating pumps, it covers those. So your house, sometimes they might have like the newer houses have like the tankless water heaters, and then some of the other houses might have like the circulating pumps, but it covers all of that. It does not cover fuel tanks. Okay, a lot of houses don't have fuel tanks anymore. That's kind of more for like older homes. It does cover the electrical system, electrical panels, light switches, electrical outlets, wiring, light fixtures, wiring from the electrical panel to any covered item. And then it tells you what it excludes, which is a circuit overload. That's like something that you might have done on your own, hooking up too many appliances to like one circuit board, face plates, all components and wiring to or from a solar power system, generator, or an energy management system. So they're not going to cover your solar power system or your generator, y'all. That's an outside component. But it does cover your plumbing system. Stoppage is all covered. This includes leaks and breaks of water drain, gas, waste, or vent lines, toilets and related mechanisms, toilet wax, ring seats, faucets, shower heads, shower arms, valves, all of this stuff, sewage ejector, all of that is covered, y'all. And then it tells you what is excluded. Stoppages caused by collapse, damage, or broken drain, vent, or sewer lines outside the home's main foundation, lines that are broken, infiltrated, or stopped by roots or foreign objects. So you got to just read this stuff to see what is excluded. Then you can acquire an optional coverage, which will require an additional payment. It also, let me see, it says something about a pool and a spa equipment, which is covered, y'all. So if you have a pool or spa equipment, that is covered. Above ground components and parts of the heating, pumping, and filtration system. Okay, and then they tell you the parts that are excluded. A well pump is covered, y'all. All components and parts of the well pump utilized for main dwelling only. And then they tell you how much they'll pay for that. The sump pump is covered. That's for groundwater. It tells you what's excluded. The central vacuum is covered. All mechanical system components and parts. Excluded are the ductwork, hoses, blockages, and accessories. Limited roof leaks. So single family homes only are covered for the repair of shake, shingle, and composition roof leaks over the occupied living area. It says we will pay up to $500 for access, diagnosis, and repair and or replacement. Note, if roof must be partially or completely replaced to affect repair, this coverage does not apply. And then it tells you what's excluded. Standalone freezer. If you have a second freezer, it's covered. Okay. And then a septic tank pumping is covered. Your septic system is covered. Let me see. The sprinkler system is covered. Standalone ice maker is covered. Trash compactor is covered, y'all. All right. And this talks about the protection plan, terms, and conditions. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing right there. Hopefully this has been insightful for you all to know that you can definitely get a home warranty for your house. Okay. It says you can do transfer of agreement and renewals. Let me see. Let me keep going, y'all. So you can transfer your warranty. If you sell your house, you can transfer the warranty to the buyers. Okay. So that they can have peace of mind when purchasing your home. All right. So that's something that you can just throw in there. Let me keep going. It talks about service costs. But I feel like this. Something's better than nothing, y'all. Something is better than nothing. Then it talks about winterizing your home. It talks about what to do in the springtime for your home. Insulate your pipes in the winter. Your home's crawl space and attic. Clear debris out of the window wells, gutters, downspouts, and storm drains. Clean the clothes dryer, exhaust duct, damper, and space under the dryer. Make sure the caulking around the doors and windows are adequate to reduce heat loss. Have your furnace serviced annually by a licensed professional. So these are the things that you can do to keep your home running and good maintenance. It tells you what to do in summer, what to do in fall. Flush out sediments from your hot water heater. Okay, so I think it's really good information. It says, you said, does the house need inspection before getting this type of warranty? Is it an insurance? This is not an insurance. What's the difference between warranty and home insurance? So this is, no, I didn't, my house did not need an inspection for this. They just gave it to me. I haven't had to have an inspection on the house. And is it an insurance? No, insurance is separate. So homeowners insurance is basically if your house undergoes a natural disaster like a peril, such as a lightning strike. Lightning can strike your house. There could be a tornado or a hurricane or a fire. That's what homeowners insurance is for. Also theft, vandalism of your home. That's what homeowners insurance is for. Okay. So if your house is basically undergoing some type of natural disaster, that's what home insurance covers. The home warranty is for things inside the home that break down that requires maintenance or repair work. So that's the difference between the two. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. All right. So I want us to make home ownership normalized. Okay. Make home ownership normalized. That's what I want to see us doing. Okay. Making home ownership normalized, because so many other people are doing it and they're doing it like it's nothing. And then I find a lot of people, a lot of us, they're scared of being homeowners because they have these myths and misconceptions that it's a lot of responsibility. I mean, home ownership, anything is a lot of responsibility. Paying rent is a responsibility. Upkeeping the premises in which you dwell is responsibility. Having a car is responsibility. Having children is a responsibility. But we see people procreate and are not responsible for their children. So yes, make home ownership great again. I love that. Let's make home ownership normalized, y'all, because I believe in creating economic ownership, being the CEO of your financial future. How do we do that? By owning homes, owning businesses, owning real estate, y'all, and not being a tenant, not always being a W-2 employee, but having something outside of your job that you can fall back on. So this is why I do substitute teaching, because it gives me flexibility. I get to pick and choose the schools I go to. I get to pick and choose if I want to go in that day, if I don't, if I want to do a half day. It gives me that flexibility. So I would like to see a lot of us doing this. I would like to see a lot of us being homeowners, y'all. And I know people say, oh, you never own your home because you pay taxes. You got to pay personal property taxes on your car. You still pay taxes on your land if you have land. You still have to pay real estate taxes on your house if you have a house. That's just the nature of this country, y'all. The only way to really forego that is to leave the country and not own a house here. But I would like to see people do that. I definitely would like to see that happen. And I'm going to go over some more real estate stuff on this channel, but my real estate channel is the main channel that I really delve into, like the real estate stuff. But I'll talk about it on here as well. I'll probably post some houses for y'all, show you some behind the scene footage if you're interested in that, because I think we do need to kind of discuss these things as well. But anyway, how long have I been on here? I've been on here for almost 2 hours. This was not planned. It is 10:18 where I am. I am very tired. I thank y'all for listening and rocking out with me, y'all. I thank y'all so much. Make sure you like the video too, y'all. I gave a lot of energy tonight. I gave a lot of energy tonight, y'all. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the video. And continue always, like I say, to walk in your divinity. I'm going to turn this light off. Stop shining in my face for a second. I'm sorry about the fuzziness. I know this looks better. But I got this shining all in my face, and y'all, my eyes are tired. I don't have my sunshades on. I don't have my hater blockers with me. All I have is this right here. I got this in the background. So I'm going to go ahead, probably try to get myself prepared for tomorrow, wash some clothes and stuff, put some clothes in the dryer. The dryer guy is coming out tomorrow for Halloween. The dryer guy is coming out. He's going to replace the heating element, y'all. So I'm getting that done. I got a few more things that I want to get done. And y'all, we're just going to make home ownership great again. We're going to make America great by doing what we need to do, y'all. And we need to make reading great again in this country, because a lot of these children can, like I told you, cannot read, cannot do math. So we need to focus on the things that are important. Education is so important, y'all. And I don't think people put enough emphasis on it. I think financial literacy is very important. I don't think we put enough emphasis on that, especially for our melanated beings and our melanated people. I don't want us to be fearful about purchasing a home or having a house payment, because I think that's the most fearful thing that people have, is having the house payment, because they fear that if they don't make the payment, they're going to lose their house. But that is not necessarily the case, y'all. There are a lot of programs that help keep you in your home if you ever go into a financial crisis. So it's not like a lot of people make it seem. A lot of the horror stories can be refuted if they just had some knowledge about how to, live in the house. So we just went over the home warranty that helps with the maintenance issues. All right. We talked about homeowners insurance. That's, for natural disasters. And of course, flood insurance is usually a separate insurance that you may or may not have to get for your house, depending on where you live. If your house is in a flood map, your lender is going to require that you get flood insurance. And the reason for that is because they have a financial investment in the home unless you are paying cash for that home, okay? Or that home was passed on to you some type of way. But basically, I mean, it's a real simple thing. Just apply, y'all. If you can, if you are able to afford it, just apply. Don't be scared about them pulling your credit. Credit can go up, credit can come down. It's nothing but some numbers, y'all. And credit can be fixed. So I think a lot of people are very fearful when you talk about getting them over to the lender, because they don't want the lender to see their credit report, or they get scared for some reason. I don't know why people are scared of numbers, but they're just going to tell you what your credit score is, tell you what you need to do if you need to get ready, and try to prepare you so that you can live in a house. That's it, if that's what you aspire. Now, there are people that make excuses about why they can't do it, or why they, don't want to do it. And maybe home ownership is not for them, but I really think that people need to start looking at making home ownership normalized, y'all. All right. It's nothing to be scared of. I know people say that they've had horror stories. And like I said, a lot of these people probably have been misinformed on a lot of things. You said it's cheaper to own a home, I believe. In the long run, it is cheaper. In the long run, y'all. But a lot of people don't look at they don't look at the grand scheme of the long run. They look at the short term. They look at the short term. They're like, oh, I can just rent now. But yeah, so there's a YouTuber, and I don't even know if I should say this YouTuber's name, but they were talking about home ownership and about home ownership and programs. And I can tell by the way they're talking that they don't understand, the process of getting a house. And that's okay, because a lot of people don't know. That's what my job is to help educate, so people will know and understand and make them comfortable through the process. But he was talking about taking out a mortgage. So basically, taking out a mortgage basically just means that you were qualified to get the mortgage, right? You were qualified to get the mortgage. That meant that your credit score was intact, you had the debt to income ratio intact, and you had the money that you need to put into getting a house. So when it comes to down payment assistance programs, a lot of these programs are geared toward first-time home buyers. Not all. There are programs that you can still get where you don't have to be a first-time homeowner. Okay. Here in this city in which I reside, you don't have to be a first-time homeowner. They give you up to $100,000 or even over. I had two colleagues that got about $100,000 for their client, and another one got like 160 for her client. Okay. And not necessarily because they're first time home buyers either, but they were stackable programs that they were allowed to double dip, 3 different programs. Okay. And so there's like, people get things misconstrued when they think that you need $30,000, $20,000 to purchase a house. That's not necessarily true. Usually it's 3.5% of the purchase price if you are going to utilize an FHA loan, y'all. Okay. And that is a loan that is given to you by the federal government. And then if you get the down payment assistance, you might not even have to come up with that much money. Okay. But it is contingent upon your credit score, because some of these programs are going to require that you have a credit score, I would say, of at least a 640 to a 660 and up. That's not that high in terms of credit. And then they're going to want to look at your debt to income ratio of being at least, I would say, 45% and under. They can, some lenders can qualify you up to 45 to 50%. That's kind of high. I would strongly advocate for my clients to have a debt to income ratio of as low as possible. Usually you want that between 30 to 40%, right? Because you're going to always have bills that you have to pay, such as utilities. You might have a car note. Some people have their cars paid off. Just things like that are going to be factored into it. And what it is they factor all of your debt, and then they look at the income, and then there's like there's a certain what am I trying to say? A mathematical equation where they divide this up just to see what your percentage rate is. That's really all it is. And then looking at your income, do you have steady income for the last 2 years? That's either W-2 or all 1099. It's not both. It has to be one or the other, y'all. Unless you're paying cash, you can pay cash. There's also something called the 1031 exchange, which a lot of people don't utilize. This is just for the standard, more conventional way of purchasing a house, y'all. But there are different ways to acquire real estate. So, you can be the heir to a throne. That can happen too. So I would strongly, strongly encourage y'all to, if you're thinking about it, look into it. Reach out to a reputable realtor in your area and a reputable lender, first and foremost. See where you stand and continue to work on it. Don't give up. Don't think that, it's a waste of your time. It's unattainable, because a lot of people sometimes have the mindset that, oh, you know what, homeownership is unattainable. It's just too much. It's complicated. It's really not, y'all. I promise you, the process is very simple. It seems more complicated than what it is. And I try to simplify it as much as I can when I do my videos. But there are just steps. There are steps that you have to take. It does take discipline. You do have to budget. So certain things you might have to cut out. Like if you're really serious about it, that might mean don't eat out as much. Don't be going to these restaurants, spending your money. You might not be able to go to the mall shopping. Yeah, I was just at the mall earlier. You know how many melanated people I saw coming out with shopping bags, shopping. And I'm not saying not all, but a lot of melanated people don't own houses. They are renters. A lot of them, a big percentage of them, rent a lot, and they spend their money in other areas where this could be going toward you being a homeowner. Why do they say that's building generational wealth? Because in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, it is building generational wealth for you, because you're able to build your equity up in your house, which you can pass on to your children, right? You can't really do that with like your rental property. Once you're done with that rental property, you can't really sell it, because it is owned by the landlord, unfortunately. So you've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars in that rental, and you're not going to get that money back. If you sell your house, you can get your money back. So that's what they mean by building generational wealth, y'all. That's what they mean by that. You can also, leverage the equity in your home if you're open to that. Some people have actually started businesses doing that. You have to be real strategic and smart on how you want to navigate that. There have been people that have pulled equity out of their home to purchase a rental property so they can start making more money and return on their investment, so they don't have to work. So now they can just rent this property out and they don't have to work for that income. So people have done that too. They leverage their equity in their home to do these things instead of trying to go out here, save and rent, save and rent, save and rent. That's kind of working against what you're trying to do. The easiest way to get the money is to build the equity in 5 years or less, y'all. 5 years or less, you have, you can have $100,000 worth of equity in your house, because I've seen it happen to me. I was in my house for under 5 years, and yes, my house acquired equity very swiftly. So it is very possible to have $100,000 or more worth of equity in your home in 5 years or less. That's not that much time to build that equity, y'all. It can be up to 3 years or less, but you definitely want to stay in your home longer than 2 years. Okay. And the reason for that is because of the tax implications that are involved. So just, be very mindful of that. I had someone that wanted to sell her house last December. She was only in her house for 1 year. I spoke to my broker in charge about it, and we were trying to tell her the benefits of just staying in there for one more year. But she had it in her mind. She didn't care about trying to get the equity because she wasn't really going to be able to sell it it wasn't financially going to be, it wasn't going to make financial sense for her to sell it after only being in it for 1 year, because she was living in a new construction neighborhood and they were still selling in the neighborhood. So now she's competing with the new construction builder, and that's kind of difficult to do sometimes. So, but she had done some upgrades to her house, which does add some value. But a person might look at the house and say, okay, why would I purchase your home if I can get a brand new home for the same price? But there you go. If she had the upgrades, now a fence can actually add a couple of $1,000s to the value of your home. She did have a few things that, she did to the home that would make it more advantageous for someone if they didn't have the money to actually do the, fix up the house. So that was working in her favor. So these are just things to take into consideration, y'all. You said, I'm looking into being, I don't know what that says. 2 years is the golden in taxes. Black Attack, how are you? Thank you for the flower. Thank you for the rose. I appreciate you being here, y'all. I look so tired in the face, but I appreciate the viewers that are on here. Make sure y'all like my video, y'all. Subscribe. And, this has just definitely been a journey, y'all, for today. So I've been on here for over 2 hours now. I'm going to probably go ahead and sign out. Now, this is the information that our people need, not all those silly distractions. Thank you. Yes, Jocelyn, I very much think that our people need this information. Where I get very, I guess I get frustrated because when I do try to talk about stuff like this, a lot of people seem like they're not interested in it. They're not interested in it a lot of times. So that's the thing. You said over 2 hours, time flew by. It did. It did. But I think this is important because we will thrive more as a people financially when we start becoming financially literate. And it's just little things, little simple things that people might not be privy to that can help them out and make them see things in a different mindset, right? Like being a homeowner, there's nothing to be intimidated by. Like, getting a home warranty, that's something that can help you so you can have peace of mind, especially if you're moving into a pre-built home that's a little bit older. Or, if you know how these homeowners insurances work, if you know how warranties work, if you know about mortgage insurance, which is something that I spoke about before. Now that's separate from homeowners insurance and it's separate from the warranty. Mortgage insurance is something that you pay every month as well, but it protects you from having to pay your mortgage if you were to get sick or if you were to come to your untimely demise. What happens in that instance is the mortgage insurance will now pay your mortgage off for you, and you can actually pass your home on to a loved one or a relative, so they have somewhere to live and they're not stuck in a rental trying to come up with money to pay the rent. Mortgage insurance kicks in, mortgage insurance pays your house off. And also, there are different tiers of mortgage insurance that you can purchase. So you can get the mortgage insurance that pays 80% of your house off. You can get the one that pays another percentage off. And then I think the last one is like 100%. Now, the more that the mortgage insurance pays, the higher that you're going to pay for that monthly incentive, right? But it's better to have something than nothing. So even if you pay for them, say they pay 80% of your mortgage off, I'd rather for them to pay the 80% off and then you only have 20% left instead of having the whole whatever balance that's due, right? Because your relatives probably might not have employment to pay this off. Do you want your house going back to the state? There's a term in real estate called escheat. That's I'm gonna type it in the comment section, y'all. ESCHEAT. Okay, this is what happens if something happens to you. Your home or your real estate is escheated back to the state if nobody claims it. And you don't want to have put all your hard work, effort, and energy into maintaining your premises, not to have it go to your loved ones, but have it go to the state, escheated to the state, right? So these are just things that we want to think about. Also, putting your home in a trust. I think that's very smart as well. And then you have people that also will put their homes not in their name, but in an LLC name, right? To protect their assets. That's another thing that, people strategically do as well. You said mortgage insurance. I never knew that. No, it's called mortgage insurance. Yes, mortgage insurance is a real thing out here, y'all. Get some, okay? Get some if you don't have it. It'll give you more peace of mind just to know that you have it in case something happens. Mortgage insurance, y'all, look into it. And they do sell it. It is affordable. And it's similar to life insurance, but it covers your mortgage, okay? And I also talk about life insurance on here as well, because I also believe in having life insurance, mortgage insurance, and life insurance, home warranty, and you're automatically going to have homeowners insurance if you pay your mortgage, right? If you have a balance that's due on the mortgage, more than likely you're automatically going to have homeowners insurance, because you're paying your mortgage to the lender, and the lender is going to require that you have insurance on that house because they have a financial investment in your home. The same thing if you have car insurance and you have a balance due on the car, your car is not fully paid off, you owe the lender requires you to have car insurance because they still have a financial interest in that property. So that's the same thing with your house. Same thing, y'all, just simple stuff. So if we could just understand just the basics and know that we are covered and we're taking care of ourselves in these ways, I think, we can start there, and then we can start moving forward and excelling, y'all. But anyway, I'm very hungry right now. Ich bin hungrig. Mir is hungry, y'all. I need to eat again. I done worked up an appetite. I'm tired. I need some rest. I got stuff to do, y'all. I got to get my mind right for tomorrow. Yeah, I feel like I have been what's the word? Traumatized today. I feel like I've been traumatized, y'all. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for listening, rocking out with me. I hope you have appreciated and enjoyed the information. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, and I'll be tuning in with y'all later. Thank you so much. Okay. Signing out. Y'all continue to walk into your divinity and stay blessed. Yeah, it's traumatized. All right, y'all. I'm signing out.